Good morning, friends. Thank you for joining us today. We really never have had focused on infrastructure as a whole. So this time we'll thought that we'll bring all the concerned departments together. And we have joining with us Honorable Power and NRE Minister, Shri Singh ji, and along with him we have Secretary Civil Aviation, Shri Rajiv Bansal ji, Secretary North, Shri Anurag Jain ji, Secretary MNRE, Shri Bhupinder Singh Bhalla ji, Secretary Ports and Shipping, T.K. Ramchandra ji, Secretary Rural Development, Shri Shailesh Singh ji. DOT Additional Secretary would be joining us soon. And from Railway Board, we have Anil Kumar Khandelwal ji, Additional Secretary Rank Officer from Gati Shakti, who handles Gati Shakti. Friends, we'll first have an overview of all the developments and the kind of path-breaking initiatives in the infrastructure sector, and thereafter we'll open it to the media. Sir, so over to you, sir.
I think we met last when I placed before you what we have done in the power sector. What we have done in the power sector, of course, has brought us to the forefront of the world in energy transition. And this is a different India. Now, I mean, the fact that India was a developing country, etc., that is gone, right? Now we are vying with the best in the world. And that is true of infrastructure as well. The entire, not only power, but the entire infrastructure sector. And that story has not been told as a complete story. And if you dwell upon it, it is mind-boggling. It is really mind-boggling. And we can all be proud of it as Indians. Now we are transforming our country into a developed country. That is our objective, that we shall be a developed country, and a future-ready infrastructure is the basic requirement for being a developed country. And we are there. We are there. We are transforming the country. This country is now no longer the country which it was before 2014. It's totally different, and it's modernizing at a very, very rapid pace. What we have done, we've come out of COVID faster than anybody. Our rate of growth, we recovered faster than anybody after COVID. Our rate of growth after COVID has been the fastest in the world, 7.2%. The other developed countries have been developing at 1.2%, approximately 1.5%. Their rate of inflation, approximately 9% odd. Our rate of inflation is about 5 to 6%. Now, all this has been possible because we've planned for it. It has not happened by itself. And one of the major parts of that plan was investments in modernizing infrastructure. That was one of the major parts of the plan. Now, and I'll tell you how and what we did. The figures themselves are mind-boggling. Now, the budgetary allocation for capital expenditure increased 3 times from 2014 onwards, and it has tripled in the last 4 years. Figures. In 1920, the capital expenditure was 3.4 lakh crores. 21-22, it jumped up to 5.5 lakh crores. 22-23, it went up to 7.5 lakh crores. And 23-24, the budgetary allocation is 10 lakh crores. That's what we've done. In the power sector, I've already told you the story, but I'll repeat it. Even 67, 68 years after independence, we had thousands of villages which had not seen electricity. We electrified every village, we electrified every hamlet, we connected every home. We connected 29 million homes in 19 months. And the International Energy Agency called it the largest and the fastest expansion of access ever in the world in the history of the power sector. That's what we did. We connected the whole country. We converted our country from power deficit to power surplus. Today, our established capacity is 421,000 megawatts. My peak demand is 223,000 megawatts. So it's near double. And I am adding capacity. In renewable energy capacity, the bulk of my addition will be, because we are undertaking renewable energy transition, the bulk of our additions is, and we shall remain renewables. I have 50,000 megawatts, approx 45,000 megawatts approx under construction insofar as conventional is concerned, and we are adding 50,000. the program we have is adding 50,000 megawatts of renewable energy capacity every year. That's the largest one, one of the largest and fastest expansions of renewable energy capacity anywhere in the world. Today, we have emerged as a leader in energy transition, but let me first focus on the conventional sector. What we did was, we added capacity, we connected the whole country into one grid, running on one frequency. This is the largest single grid, unified grid in the world, because it's totally fully integrated. It can transfer almost about 120,000 megawatts from one corner of the country to another. We've connected, right from Leh Ladakh to Janskar to the borders of Myanmar, etc., what have you. What we have transformed, what has done is that it has transformed the country into one market. And we have, of course, exchanges. We strengthened the distribution system by spending 210,000 crores on under Deen Dayal Gram Jyoti Yojana, IPDS, Saubhagya, etc., on constructing almost about 2,980, or you can take it as around 3,000 new substations. We added and we upgraded almost about 3,900 odd substations. Almost 4,000 substations we upgraded, to 3,000 substations we added. We added 750 lakh transformers. You had, one transformer serving maybe 3 villages, 4 villages, whatever. We've added 750 lakh transformers. We added 8,50,000 circuit kilometers of HT lines, LT lines. The net result of all this has been that the availability of power in rural areas has gone up from 12.5 hours per day to 22.5 hours approx. And in urban areas has gone up to 23.5 hours. We are well on our way to making generating sets history and stabilizers history. We put in place rules laying down the rights of consumers as behoves a modern country. And if any DISCOM does any gratuitous load shedding, you have a right to get compensated. We put grievance redressal mechanisms at the divisional level, at the supreme level, chief engineer level, outside agency, outside the members, so that you can take your grievances there and claim your compensation. I have been exhorting all the NGOs to look around and see where gratuitous load shedding is happening and file complaints, so that gratuitous load shedding goes. Why? Why am I doing this? Because I have sufficient capacity. And I will not, we shall, we are duty bound to give 24/7 stable supply, and therefore nobody has a right to just do load shedding anywhere. Power is available, please go to the exchange and buy it. That's my outlook. That is the conventional power sector. In renewable energy, what we have done again is something that from being, the country to which other countries lectured, now we lecture other countries. They used to tell us that, the climate is under danger and energy transition is essential. We need to sort of move to non-fossils. Our pace of moving to non-fossils is one of the fastest in the world. We had pledged in Paris in COP21 that by 2030, we'll have 40% of our capacity coming from non-fossils. We achieved that in 2021, 9 years in advance. Today, 43% of our capacity comes from non-fossils. And the electricity which you see, 25 to 27% of that is non-fossil. That's what India is. And today, we have approximately non-fossil capacity of about 185,000 megawatts. And I have 88,000 megawatts under installation and another about 55,000 megawatts under build. And again, as I said, I'm adding 50,000 megawatts. That is the program which we have developed every year. We've already emerged as one of the bigger manufacturers of green hydrogen, green ammonia. We shall emerge as one of the biggest. I don't know what China is doing, but outside of that, green hydrogen, green ammonia, we shall emerge as the biggest manufacturer. Some countries were putting up trade barriers because our green hydrogen and green ammonia will be the cheapest in the world. So that trade barriers we fought against. Some countries have lowered their trade barriers, and we are quite sure that every country will lower their trade barriers, because it makes sense to buy green hydrogen or clean hydrogen from where it is cheapest, and we shall provide it for the cheapest. Why? Because we have natural advantages. Our cost of making renewable energy is the cheapest in the world. You apply for transmission connectivity, you get it in 60 days. In other countries, it takes 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. So nobody can compete with us. It's different. I mean, India today, under Prime Minister Modi, the Modi government has made India different. Now the narrative is different. We are not developing country, etc., whatever. We still fight for the rights of development, but we are different, and that is the story across the board, and that is the story in infrastructure as well. Now let me tell you about infrastructure. Now earlier, number one, you can't be. This is mind-boggling. You can't be a developed country without a modern infrastructure. And we have sort of taken out 13 crore people from poverty. The rate of poverty reduction in under the Prime Minister Modi has been the fastest in the world. That the whole world has acknowledged. You all have read it. That we have done. We've constructed 3.8 crore houses for poor people, and there are 2 lakh crore. Each house costs about near 2 lakhs. It's not that Indira Awas, right? 2 lakhs, 3.8 crores. We've given drinking water connections to almost everybody, electricity connections to everybody, gas connections to everybody. For the poor, we made sure we have given Ayushman Bharat cards, an insurance of 5 lakhs to each poor family, so that he can get himself and his family treated anywhere. All these we have done for the poor. At the same time, we have made and we are making India modern. That's what the Prime Minister Modi's government does. That's what the Prime Minister Modi's government has done, and that is the story today. Yes, for the poor, what we have done, nobody else has done. And for modernizing our country, nobody has done what we have done, what our Prime Minister Modi has, Modi's government has done. Before 2014, the total length of national highways was 91,287 kilometers. Today, it is 1,45,240. And out of that, the total 4-lane capacity is 44,654 kilometers. And we are adding 4-lane capacity every day. I mean, nowadays you see 4-lane everywhere. I mean, till 2008, 2009, you hardly saw 4-lane anywhere. That's what we have done. Increase the 4-lane capacity by almost about twice. In fact, more than twice, 3 times, 2.4 times, from 18,371 to 44,654. That is one. The second is modern country, high-speed expressways, access-controlled expressways. That's the hallmark of a modern country. What have we done? Earlier, before 2014, the total length of expressways, high-speed corridors, access-controlled corridors, was 353 kilometers. Right now, it is 3,106 kilometers. And we have a further 9,000 kilometers under various stages of planning and construction. And we are modernizing at a pace which is mind-boggling. In 13-14 and before, the total pace of construction of national highways was 11.6 kilometers per day. It has increased to 28.3 kilometers per day, more than double. The increase in award of works as compared to the period before 2013 is 2.5 times. The increase in construction is about 1.5 times. That's the pace, increase in pace of construction. In the northeastern states, the length of national highways is increased by 32%, from 11,000 kilometers to 14,400 kilometers. The waiting time at toll plazas has reduced from 12.23 minutes to 47 seconds. This is what we have done. In rural roads, we've added almost 3 lakh. We have added almost about 3,53,000 kilometers in the past 9 years. And this is different from what used to be the PMGSY roads earlier. Earlier they used to be single lane. Now they are 5.5 meters. The design has been changed so that the load carrying capacity has been changed. You can't leave the villages in the old days. They have to be strengthened so that the heavier vehicles can run on that. So we have changed the design of the roads, of the rural roads. The pace of construction has gone up from 92 kilometers a day in rural roads to 108 kilometers a day. The railways, the achievement of railways again is really mind-boggling. The construction, pace of construction of new lines was, the pace of commissioning of new lines was approximately 4.11 kilometers per day in the period 2004 to 2014. And after 2014, in the 9 years, it has gone up to 7.88 kilometers per day. That means in terms of total kilometers, it has gone up from 1,499 kilometers or 1,500 kilometers per year on an average to 2,875 kilometers per year. That's the pace of construction, of commissioning of new lines. The pace of doubling has again gone up. The pace of doubling has gone up from about 4,196 kilometers to 14,337 kilometers. That's what the pace of doubling has been. The loading, the freight, the average freight loading around 13, 14 and before that used to be about 1,000 million tons per annum. Now it is 1,500 million tons per annum. The pace of electrification earlier was an average of 518,088 kilometers per year. About 1.4, let's take an average, 1.4 kilometers per day. It has gone up to 11.27 kilometers per day, about 8 times. And we shall complete the entire electrification in the current financial year. Our whole network, the entire railway network will be totally electrified. The railways will become net zero by 2030. It has rolled out high-speed trains, 25 sets of high-speed trains. The Vande Bharat has already been rolled out. Semi-high-speed have already been rolled out. The average capital expenditure from the period of 14 to 23 was 1,32,781 crores. And it has gone up to almost 3 times. This is 3 times the previous capital expenditure, which used to be 45,980 crores per year. So from 45,980 crores per year, the average expenditure in the average capital expenditure has gone up to 1,32,781 crores per year. We are targeting almost 150 semi-high-speed train sets to be rolled out. More than 800 are planned. Semi-high-speed trains are planned by 2030. The dedicated freight corridor, it was launched in 2006. The dedicated freight corridor had a total length of 2,843 kilometers. Till 2014, not a single kilometer had been commissioned. From 2014 to 2023, we commissioned 2,196 kilometers, 77%. The eastern and western dedicated freight corridors will be completed in the current year. The link to Srinagar, this was started in 2004. Not much progress has been made. Now we shall connect the Kashmir Valley with the rest of the country in this current financial year. In the northeastern states, we've connected all the northeastern states except Sikkim, where the work is in progress. 3 state capitals have been connected, and Mizoram also will be connected in the current year. In ports and shipping, the port handling capacity has doubled from about 8,710 lakh tons to more than 16,100 lakh tons per annum, doubled from what it was in 2013. In logistics efficiency, our container turnaround time today is better than the United States, Germany, and Singapore. It is less than 1 day. The container dwell time has been reduced to less than 3 days, ahead of United States and Germany. The cargo handled by inland waterways had increased by more than 70 times, from 69 lakh tons to 1,260 lakh tons. The coastal shipping cargo has nearly doubled from 870 lakh tons to 1,500 lakh tons. In civil aviation, we've doubled the number of airports from 74 to 148. The passengers have doubled, more than doubled, from 61 million to 136 million in just this 9 years. The aircraft fleet size has increased from 395 in 2014 to 729 in 2023. More than 479 routes have been operationalized under UDAN. The Prime Minister's dream was that even Indians wearing Hawaii chappals will travel on the air. Now that is being realized. That is being realized. In telecom, the figures are truly mind-boggling. The number of mobile broadband subscribers has increased from 4.56 crores to 81.19 crores, multiplied 17 times. The data usage per mobile subscriber has increased from 0.27 GB per month to 17.11 GB per month. The average broadband speed has increased from 1.7 Mbps to almost 30.9 Mbps, about 18 times. The optical fiber cable length has increased from 11 lakh kms in 2013 to 38 lakh kms. We have connected 2.05 lakh, 2 lakh and 5,000 gram panchayats against a total branch panchayats of 2,500. We've almost connected every gram panchayat with optical fibers. We have jumped to the 10th rank from the 47th rank in the Global Cyber Security Index. We have jumped 50 spots in the speed test global index for mobile data. Our pace of rollout of 5G is the fastest in the world. 5G has already reached 700 districts in our country. And we have already started work on 6G, and that is indigenous. We've also rolled out our own 5G technology patented in India. This huge expansion of capacity, digital capacity, has led to India becoming a leader in the use of digital technology for payments, for transfers, etc. We are the number one. You add the other country, other second, third, and fourth, they don't add up to the quantum of transfers which happens digitally in India already. We have emerged as a leader in the digital world, in digital transactions. So we are, today you can pay by your mobile for even buying, vegetables, etc. You have a QR code, you snap it and you pay. This you won't see in other countries. for them, it is something which is wondrous that this can happen. But we've done it. We transfer thousands of crores into the accounts of farmers every quarter, just by the click of a button. This doesn't happen in other countries. So India is different. That's our story. We have not only taken care of poverty, we have not only constructed houses for the poor people, we have not only fed 80 crore people during the COVID era, and we have not even given a huge number of jobs, but we have made our country modern, and we are well on our way to becoming a developed country. Our objective is to become, the objective of the Prime Minister Modi is to become a developed country by 2047. That is the story. And we are well on our way there. We are having expressways, we are having logistics hubs, we have, and all this has been possible. Again, that is one part of the story which I should not miss out. All this has happened because of changes in systems, transformation in systems, PM Gati Shakti, so that you had coordinated planning of all the infrastructures, so that one infrastructure does not overlap with the other. You have Pragati. The Prime Minister himself, before 2014, almost more than 400 major projects were stalled, and nobody was doing anything about it. Now you have the Pragati. So the Prime Minister comes online, Ministries of the Government of India and the state governments are there, and any problem which is there, any problem with stalled projects, sorted out. Now we launch projects and we complete projects. Our pace of completion of projects is unparalleled. So that's what we do. That's what has made this possible. As I said, now we are a different country. We are a modern country. We are vying for becoming the third largest economy. We shall get there. We say maybe 3 years, 4 years, we shall get there. We shall be the third largest economy, and we shall be a modern economy. Though, India is not a developing country any longer. That is the story. So questions, please. And thereafter, I have colleagues from the different ministries, so they will help me to answer all your questions.
Friends, so we'll start with Deepak Das, 105. Mike, please. Friends, all the information that Honorable Minister has quoted, we have taken printouts of it and they will be kept outside. And secondly, we'll also be sharing the information in the WhatsApp group. Yes,
so the data will be shared with you. So don't worry about the data.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, thank you, sir. What you read out, I'm here, sir. It's almost like, sir, niche, sir, niche. I'm in the front row, sir. So, what you read out is almost like a student appearing for exam a day before he's, revising everything. But I'm trying to find out what new things are going to happen in next 5 years. If at all you can give something on highways, shipping, railways, that will be better. Otherwise, what you said is actually all PIB tweets have been coming out.
Basically, what has been presented before you is a coordinated vision of the entire sector, entire infrastructure sector. The story is not in the individual parts, the story is in the combined part. The combined part is that now India is different. The combined part is that now India is developing. You said that you already have figures. Great, that's very fine. Let's see you putting all those figures together and coming out with the story that now India is different. That is my message to you. That India is totally different. It is very different from what it was in 2014, and it's going to be, as you had asked about the future, I told you about the future. It is going to be a developed country. We have set our sights on 2047, but we will get there faster. We'll get there far before 2047, and we shall be the third largest economy in the world in the next 3-4 years. That is the story. The story is that today, your truck time travel, whatever your truck time travel is, that will come down by almost a factor of 1/3, because of the access controlled highways and because of the 4-lane highways. The future construction is all 4-lane. Till 2008 or 2009, you never saw a 4-lane. This was a program which had just taken out. As I said, the access controlled high speed corridors, we have increased by more than 10 times. And we have 3 times that under construction. So if you are talking about highways, 9,000 kilometers are going to come, which will be access controlled, high speed corridors, or let's say expressways. Railways, net zero by 2030, and railways, more and more semi-high-speed trains, as you like to call it. A totally modern infrastructure. The number of stations which are being modernized, I think, are almost how many? 1,309 railway stations are being modernized. As far as the capital expenditure of railways is concerned, again, I didn't read that out, but let me read that out for you. The capital expenditure in 22-23 was 2,03,983 crores as compared to 53,989 crores in 13-14. That's what the scale of capital expenditure is. That is almost 4 times what it used to be earlier. That is the story. Yes.
Number 66. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, I'm over here. Sir, I'm Tuesh Mishra. I work for the Economic Times newspaper. Sir, thank you for letting us have this opportunity to ask a question to so many infrastructure ministries at once. I'll try and keep a macro question as well. The Prime Minister and many arms of the government have talked about reducing the cost of logistics in the country. When can we expect some outcome? And my second question is, you've spoken about how there are delays in projects and earlier governments were not doing anything. Is there a concerted approach that you can share? How can we reduce those delays in these large infrastructure projects?
Number one, as far as the reduction of time is concerned, the expansion of tracks and the expansion in the 4-lane capacities is just aimed at that, to reduce the travel time, reduce the logistics time. And the PM Gati Shakti has been designed to make sure that the different parts of infrastructure are coordinated. The railways, the roadways, etc. They are coordinated so that the railway station and the transport, road transport hubs, etc. They coordinate. In the logistics ease of logistics rank, we have jumped 6 places from 44 to 38 already. And there is a group which looks at there are 2 groups. One group looks at the planning of the logistics. The other group looks at any difficulties which come up in the execution of the projects. That's you have the PMG, which looks after the project management, and there is another group which looks after the planning, coordinated planning under Gati Shakti.
Number 154.
हेलो सर, मैं राधा रमन मिश्रा पीटीआई भाषा से सर। सर आप लोग ये पावर सेक्टर में 24/7 आपका एम्बिशियस टारगेट था सर। अगर 9 साल में कंपेयर करें,
हाँ,
अगर 9 इयर्स में कंपेयर करें 2014 और अभी, तो रूरल सेक्टर्स और अर्बन सेक्टर्स में सर कितने आवर पावर सप्लाई हो रहा है? और दूसरा सर, क्या डाटा है क्या कि मतलब 9 साल में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर में कितने एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट हुए?
रूरल एरियाज में हमने बताया आपको, रूरल एरियाज में अभी अवेलेबिलिटी ऑलमोस्ट अबाउट 22.5 आवर्स के आसपास है, लीविंग आउट द एग्रीकल्चर फीडर को 8 घंटे नॉर्मली सप्लाई किया जाता है। अर्बन एरियाज में ऑलमोस्ट 23.5 आवर्स है। As the total job creation is something which it will have to be taken out. It will have that data will have to be aggregated. We have not aggregated that. We shall aggregate that. You want that? Yes.
Number 105.
और ये by and large जो shortage है, the 23.5 hours है average. This is the whole country, which includes the northeast, Jammu Kashmir, etc. Number 1. Number 2, if there is any shortage, that would be because of local faults. We don't have any problems in the availability of electricity. Yes.
5.
Hello. Sir, my question is that the first high-speed train between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, when it is going to be operational? Now it is 5 years delayed. So can you have a definite answer on this?
Yes.
The work on high-speed trains started in 2016, as already told. We have completed in Gujarat portion, all civil works are completed. And Maharashtra portion, land acquisition is completed and work is started. Now system work is going to start. The trials for this thing completion depends on many factors, and as you are aware. So it is likely to be in later part of 27, we can see that sometime trial run will start from in Gujarat portion.
2027 first trial run will start.
Will start in Gujarat portion, likely to start.
Okay, thank you.
Number 41. 41.
Hello, sir. Shreya from Business Standard. I have two questions. One is regarding the two initiatives that you mentioned, Pragati and Gati Shakti. While these two initiatives have brought down the silos in the central government, there still remain challenges at the state level, something that this government has stated out to be cooperative federalism, and that leads to delays in a lot of infrastructure projects, especially with regards to land acquisition, etc. So how is the central government trying to iron out those differences with various state governments and bring on board to say a Gati Shakti portal? My second question is with regards to climate, given that the country now has a net zero target year and all the infra ministries present here would be in the first line of action. So how are these ministries preparing for India's climate action plan?
No, as far as coordination with the states is concerned, that's happening. That is required because land is a state subject. So land acquisition, you need the state government's cooperation. So we are coordinating with the state government, and that is something which that coordination will continue. As I said, under Pragati, the state government officers are also present, and we have seen that it works. The problems are sorted out because the chief secretary, the principal secretary, revenue, etc., they are there. So it works. That coordination is working. We also coordinate at the ministerial level, the chief minister and the concerned minister of state, and the secretaries coordinate with the chief secretary. So it's working, and that's what happens in the federal system, that you coordinate. This was one question. As far as the next question, what was your next question? About net zero. Now, railways already have a net zero target of 2030, and by and large, we shall get to, our net zero target is 2070, but we shall get there. We have a plan. Number one, we are greening our electricity. We have already started having bids for round-the-clock renewable energy. Right now, the storage is expensive. The bid which we had for 1,000 megawatt hours of storage, that rate came to about 10 rupees per kilowatt hour. So hopefully, as we add volumes, the cost of storage will come down. We had a PLI for battery storage. Once that manufacturing starts, hopefully the cost will come down further. We are coming out with another PLI for battery storage. So these two things will bring down the cost of storage. Similarly, we are adding pumped hydro. Already we have 4,500 megawatts of pumped hydro available, and we have another about 5,000 under construction, and almost 30,000 megawatts under clearances. So pumped hydro will also bring down the cost of storage. The cost of storage using pumped hydro is about 4 rupees 50 paise, 5 rupees. Once storage comes down, then renewable energy will be round the clock. Once that happens, then by and large you can phase out the fossil fuel capacity. So first thing will be to green the electricity. The second is green feedstock, for which we have launched the green hydrogen program. And that green hydrogen program is also taking off. The pace is good. We already have come out with bids, the first bids for green hydrogen and for manufacturing electrolyzers. Manufacturing of electrolyzers, we also have to manufacture electrolyzers here, because the electrolyzer manufacturing capacity around the world is very limited. So the ambitions which we have, the world supplies cannot match that. So we need to manufacture electrolyzers ourselves. So that's why we have a PLI for electrolyzers as well. So in all these things, we are emerging, and we are in sync with the developed world. In fact, in some stages, we are ahead of the developed world. That is the story which our gentleman, he didn't understand. He didn't get the point. The story is that, okay? It's not in the figures.
Number 190.
Yeah, the figures you will get.
Number 190.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bhashwati from News 18. My question, I have two questions and both are related to telecom. And I wanted to know, we have already witnessed the fastest 5G rollout in India, but when we can expect all the tier 2 and tier 3 cities to be covered in under the 5G? And the second question, like, do we have any target for that? And secondly, I have the question for what is the status of India's 6G initiative so far?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Firstly, the pace of 5G rollout has been so fast that if you look at the number of BTS that we have installed per day in the last 9 years, when 5G got rolled out, it is double the speed. So if we have done 500 BTS per day in the last 9 years, with the 5G rollout, it is 1,000 sites per day in the last 9 months, ever since the rollout started on 1st of October. Now, when it comes to targets, the targets that we have given when we assigned the spectrum is a particular number which was surpassed in the first 3 months itself. It was a 3-year target surpassed in 3 months. So it is now a demand-based expansion that is happening, and the commitment given by the telecom service providers is that they will cover all the taluka headquarters by the end of this year. Yeah. And on the second question, while the 5G rollout is currently happening, we have started work on the 6G. In March this year, Prime Minister unveiled the 6G vision document, and along with that, we are funding a 200 crore 6G test bed. And in the recent visit of Prime Minister to US, we have also started collaboration with the US agencies on doing the front-end research and development in 5G standards, services, and products. Thank you.
Number 47.
So good afternoon. This is Sanjay Agarwal. So my question is about the India growth story, what we are projecting. So the backbone, all the 8 ministries are represented. But here we don't have the skill development ministry represented, because the major challenge, as other friends have said, it's about skill. So all these ministries together and the skilled people, and the biggest threat, the global threat, is artificial intelligence, where the jobs are being snatched away. So how are you going to take this challenge on the international level, sir?
Now, when computerization started, number one, when computerization started, then there was an apprehension that it will take away jobs. It didn't happen. People just got reskilled. Now, so we have a Ministry for Skilling, we have skill development centers, and our students, they are bright enough to know as to what are the skills which are in demand. And you will find that the training centers for such skills are going up. We already have one of the largest pools of skilled manpower in the world. We'll continue adding to that. So we don't see modern technology taking away jobs. We just see that the type of jobs will change. The skill sets required will be different. That's all. Yeah. Productivity will go up. And
kind of jobs which are higher paying will come.
Next question, 123. 123.
सर मैं दीपाली हूँ CNBC आवाज़ से, और मेरा क्वेश्चन रेलवे से जुड़ा हुआ है। यहाँ पर जो टारगेट रखा गया है इस फिस्कल के लिए 150 सेमी हाई स्पीड ट्रेन आप लोग रोल आउट करेंगे, अभी 25 चल रही हैं। क्या आप इस टारगेट को अचीव कर पाएंगे? क्योंकि अगर हम 22-23 की बात करें तो कपूरथला फैक्ट्री से एक भी ट्रेन से डिलीवर नहीं हो पाया है, जहाँ तक मुझे जानकारी है, जबकि टारगेट उन्हें 32 ट्रेन सेट्स का दिया गया था। तो हाउ मच कॉन्फिडेंट यू आर इन गेटिंग दिस टारगेट डिलीवर्ड?
We are now working at double the speed at all the places, and we are sure 150 train services means 75 train sets 25 already started, 50 more we are sure, 100% sure that we will be able to manufacture and run 50 more train sets with 100 more services. So it will become 150 services. Works are going on and it will come. Every week you are seeing 2 or 4 are coming. And work will start in other factories also.
देखिए जितनी गति से ये वंदे भारत रोल आउट हुआ है, उतनी गति से कभी आपने देखा है कहीं पर नए ट्रेन रोल आउट होते हुए? कभी इतिहास में, भारत के इतिहास में नहीं देखा है। यही बात इज डिफरेंट। चलिए नेक्स्ट।
256.
Sir, my name is Prakash Pedashi. I work for ET now. If I go by MOSPI data for the month of June, 1,643 infrastructure projects are delayed, out of which 25% projects are delayed by more than 5 years. And cost overrun is around 4,64,000 crore. My question is, why these projects are so delayed?
फिगर कहाँ से मिला आपको?
MOSPI के साइट पे अवेलेबल है सर।
अच्छा।
So my question is, if we are making such a coordinated effort, why these projects are so delayed?
देखिए आपने देखा होगा कि हमारा जो पेस ऑफ कंप्लीशन है, पेस ऑफ कमिश्निंग है, वो पहले के पेस ऑफ कमिश्निंग से अमूमन 1.5 गुना से 2 गुना है। फ्रॉम 14 टिल डेट जो हमारा पेस ऑफ कमिश्निंग है, चाहे रोड्स हो, चाहे रेलवेज हो, चाहे हमारे पावर प्लांट्स हो, वो पेस ऑफ कमिश्निंग पहले के पेस ऑफ कमिश्निंग से करीब 2 गुना या 3 गुना है। हमारे रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी में हम लोगों ने बढ़ोतरी कर दी। हमारा ये सोलर कैपेसिटी हमने बढ़ा दिया कितना, 25 गुना या 30 गुना बढ़ा दिया। आई मीन सो द फैक्ट दैट कमिश्निंग इज हैपनिंग एट सच अ रैपिड पेस मीन्स कि जो डिलेज हैं वो डिलेज हमने कम कर दिया है। जबकि लार्जर नंबर ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स होंगे तो उसमें कहीं कहीं कुछ डिले होगा, लेकिन हमारा जो ओवरऑल कमिश्निंग रेट है, वो ओवरऑल कमिश्निंग रेट को देखिए, वो अनपैरेलल्ड, और मकसद वही है। कहीं कहीं कोई डिले होगा, बट बाय एंड लार्ज आवर ओवरऑल कमिश्निंग रेट इज ग्रेट। आप ये बताइए कि एयरपोर्ट को ले लें आप, 74 से 148 हो गए, है ना? नंबर ऑफ पैसेंजर्स डबल हो गए, 61 million से 136 million, yeah,
260.
So the pace of construction is unparalleled. इतने पैसेंजर्स को अकोमोडेट करने के लिए हमने टर्मिनल्स बनाए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाए।
Hi sir.
ये लिस्ट हम दे देते हैं आपको 148 का, सिविल एविएशन से है ना? हाँ, हम लिस्ट दे देंगे आपको 148 का। हाँ,
148 एयरपोर्ट बन चुके हैं, इसमें हेलीपोर्ट्स और वाटर एरोड्रोम्स भी शामिल हैं इस 148 के आंकड़े में। और इसमें समय समय पे उड़ान स्कीम के अंतर्गत कई एयरपोर्ट्स चालू हुए। कोविड के दौरान, कोविड महामारी के दौरान हॉस्पिटैलिटी और एविएशन सेक्टर सबसे ज़्यादा प्रभावित हुआ। इस वजह से कुछ एयरपोर्ट्स कुछ समय के लिए कनेक्टिविटी आज की तारीख में नहीं है, नॉन शेड्यूल्ड ऑपरेशंस उन एयरपोर्ट्स पे चल रहे हैं, तो एयरपोर्ट्स तो ऑपरेशनल हैं।
260. ओके, ठीक है, नंबर 260 विल कम टू।
त्रिपुरा में क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
नंबर 260
नाइट लैंडिंग। नाइट लैंडिंग,
ठीक है, नंबर 260
नोट कर लीजिए। अच्छा, नोट कर लीजिए।
Hi sir. So
Number
this
260. Yes, please.
Danish Anu from CNBC sir. So talking about the aviation.
Your
Hi sir. Danish Anu from CNBC.
please.
Hello. Hi sir. Danish from CNBC TV 18.
इसी सिविल एविएशन की आप बात करते हैं। लेट मी टेल यू, आई कम फ्रॉम नॉर्थ बिहार। आई नेवर थॉट दैट आई विल बी एबल टू फ्लाई फ्रॉम दरभंगा टू दिल्ली straight. It's happening, and that is as far as Bihar is concerned. In other states, I think apart from the state capitals, earlier only state capitals had airports which were functional, which were connected to, major metropolitan centers. Now in every state, you have 3-4 cities which are connected to major metropolitan centers. That's the difference which has happened. The difference which has happened is that earlier, no person, of the lower middle class ever thought of flying. And the max they would think of would be, 3-tier AC, 2-tier AC. Now they're flying. You don't get tickets. That's what's happened. 61 million to 136 million. That is a figure. The largest, we are the third largest in the world. And we're proud of what we have done. Next.
Sir, I have a question on the aviation sector itself. The government has set a very ambitious target of having over 200 airports in the years to. The government has a target of having 200 airports in the years to come. But talking about the current environment right now, we are seeing that 2 airlines have at least 1,000 aircraft on order. But we are seeing that certain airlines like Jet Airways went down a few years back. Currently, Go First is also grounded. So in this business environment, how do you think that the industry can reach to the level and to the expectations of the government?
I think both as our economy grows in size, as well as our infrastructure grows, there is a natural growth in the aviation sector. Now, as Honorable Minister said, pre-COVID we were flying about 61 million passengers in the domestic, which is now at 136 million last year. We will cross 150 million this year for sure. We're doing about 12.5 million passengers every month. We're doing it every month consistently. So, well, you mentioned about Go Airlines going down. You didn't mention about Akasa Airline. We were the only country in the world where during COVID period we gave birth to an airline. Just 2 days back, Akasa Airline was able to, induct its 20th aircraft, which is a feat in itself. It's a global feat. So, 2 big airlines have ordered more than 1,000 aircraft. We would expect more than 6-7 aircraft coming in every month. That's about almost 2 aircraft coming in every week. So I think with this induction, aircraft induction, more connectivity will be there, more outreach will be there, both domestically as well as internationally.
Next question, 156.
Hello. So, now from हम 2014 से लेकर 2023 के बीच में हमारा जो कैपेक्स है वो 3 गुना हो गया है. गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग तो बढ़ रही है लेकिन प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट उतना नहीं बढ़ रहा है. इसका क्या बड़ा रीज़न आप मानते हैं और कब आपको लगता है कि प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट भी आ पाएगा, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग पे हम ज़्यादा बिलीव.
देखिए, as far as infrastructure is concerned, you look around the world. The infrastructure sector is typically a sector where the government investment leads everywhere around the world, whether it is road construction, railways, etc. Because why? Infrastructure projects are long gestation projects and they are capital intensive. The returns are low in the initial years. So you will have to have, if you are in the private sector, you will have to have patience. So you construct a new road or widen a road before the traffic grows. You have to have patience before the returns start coming in. Now, basically, so the appetite of the private sector for infrastructure projects is basically around the world, even in developed countries, limited. Whether it's ports, whether it's airports, whether it's for highways, railway lines, you will see the government around the world.
Sir,
not only
one more
in India.
question, sir. One question on the voluntary carbon credit, sir. What is the plan for that? Will you allow FDI or export, or how you will arrange the demand in the country, sir?
Now, as far as carbon credits are concerned, we have put in place a set of rules, etc., for giving carbon credits, and also as far as transferring carbon credits outside the country, again, we are going to have a set of rules and norms which will permit transferring of carbon credits outside. That was sale of carbon credits in the open market, in the world market. that also will be permitted in some sectors, depending on, whether it's bringing in very high technology, etc., etc. Yeah.
Like 102.
Whether, in the markets, for example, if you're talking about green hydrogen. Now, green hydrogen, I am open to allowing a part of the carbon credits to be transferred to the country which buys green hydrogen from me. I'm open to that. So I'm getting into an agreement with Japan on that. Similarly, I'll get into an agreement with some other countries. The proposal is under consideration. So, yes, absolutely.
सर असीम मनचंदा CNBC आवाज़ से मेरा सवाल टेलीकॉम के ऊपर है। फिक्स ब्रॉडबैंड सब्सक्राइबर को लेकर के 9 साल में डबल भी नहीं हुए और स्पेसिफिकली स्पीड में भी हम 80 से अबव है। तो आपको लग रहा है कि कुछ ट्राई ने काफ़ी सारी रिकमेंडेशंस दी, तो हम कब तक उनके ऊपर इम्प्लीमेंट कर पाएंगे ताकि हमारे फिक्स ब्रॉडबैंड सब्सक्राइबर बढ़ पाए? और हमारे जो ग्राम पंचायत हैं उनको हम सर्विस रेडी कितने हैं इसमें से? अगर आपने कहा कि OFC से कनेक्टेड 2.5 लाख हैं, तो सर्विस रेडी कितने हैं उसमें?
आपका बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है कि फिक्स्ड लाइन ब्रॉडबैंड हमें बढ़ाना है और फिलहाल अभी 3.5 करोड़ फिक्स्ड लाइन ब्रॉडबैंड कनेक्शंस हैं एंड वी आर वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स increasing this number by giving some concession in the license fee. The proposal is under consideration, so we are hoping that a decision will be made soon. Secondly, on the BharatNet, we have about 2 lakh gram panchayats which have been made service ready. So we are trying to improve the utilization of the gram panchayat network by giving connections in the rural households, rural enterprises and institutions. We have given about 5.5 lakh connections till now using BharatNet. These are fixed wireline broadband connections. Thank you.
Number 61.
So this is Shilpa from Economic Times, sir. My question is, when you mentioned the renewable energy segment, you said that some countries have lowered their trade barriers, and have lowered their trade barriers in the renewable energy segment, and more countries are likely to do so. Could you give us some details on what these barriers were and how they have been resolved, and which are the other countries that are looking to do
I
that?
don't want to name countries which have, which in my view, in public, which in my view have raised trade barriers. That didn't work. What works is you talk to them. It is working. It is working. Some clarifications we've got which enables us to access those markets. Naming them, sorry.
Thank you.
263.
Sir, I'm Abhimanyu Sharma from CNBC TV 18. My question is that how has been the uptake of solar power schemes? What's the status of capacity expansion and also the use of installed capacity, whether there is any installed capacity which is not currently in use?
Installed capacity. Now, as far as the installed capacity of power generation which is not in use. Solar capacity. No, solar capacity, any capacity which is installed, is generating. So it's not like thermal power plant where you have to put in coal before it starts working. Now, if your question is that whether there is any solar capacity for which a PPA has not been tied up, now by and large in our system what happens is that the capacity is set up after the LOA is given, that the PPA has been tied up. That's what happens. So nobody sets up capacity without tying up the PPA unless it is a merchant capacity. Now merchant capacity, setting up of merchant capacity in renewables, that will come. It's not as yet there. So people want to get a PPA either with the government entities, distribution companies, or with open access consumers.
Number 92.
But hopefully there'll come a day when people will set up merchant capacity to sell in the exchange. Hopefully they'll come.
Yes, please go ahead.
And basically we are also thinking of contract for difference, which will, give them a safety net while they actually set up capacity to sell in the exchange. So the future may see contracts for difference.
Sir, मैं आकाश श्रीवास्तव हूँ, थर्ड आई वर्ल्ड न्यूज से. Sir, this side. सर लेफ्ट
ओके,
लेफ्ट इन टॉप। सर मेरा दो सवाल है, एक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से और दूसरा सर ये मोबाइल नेटवर्किंग से। सर ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में, चूँकि मैं यूपी से आता हूँ, आज भी ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में जो बिजली की सर सप्लाई है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, 12 से 14 घंटे से ज़्यादा नहीं है हमारे क्षेत्र में। और सर अगर कभी ट्रांसफार्मर बिगड़ गया या कोई उसमें डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में प्रॉब्लम आ गई, जब तक जेई पैसा नहीं ले लेता है तब तक कोई ट्रांसफार्मर ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में नया नहीं लगता है। अगर पैसा ना दीजिए तो 5-6 महीने तक लटका के रखता है। और दूसरा सवाल सर मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी को लेकर है। आज हम 5G 6G की बात कर रहे हैं, यहीं आसपास भारत सरकार के बहुत सारे दफ्तर हैं, हम अंदर जैसे ही जाते हैं कनेक्शन टूट जाता है।
अच्छा, ऐसा मैं बिजली की बात बता दूं, फिर मैं अपने मित्र से कहूंगा कि आपको मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी की बात बता दें। वहाँ पर अगर ये हालत है कि 14 घंटा ही गांव में आपकी बिजली रहती है तो काइंडली कंप्लेंट फाइल करा दीजिए। आप देखेंगे राइट्स ऑफ कंज्यूमर रूल्स है, ये नियम है, रूल इज लॉ, और उसके वायलेशन के लिए पेनल्टी लगेगा। तो उसका कानून यह है कि अगर कोई ग्रेजुअस लोड शेडिंग करता है तो उसको आपको कंपनसेशन देना है। अगर लोड शेडिंग इस कारण से है कि नेटवर्क में कोई दिक्कत है तब अलग बात है, तो उसको प्रूव करना होगा कि नेटवर्क में दिक्कत है। हालांकि नेटवर्क में दिक्कत क्यों रहेगा, उत्तर प्रदेश को हमको याद है दीनदयाल ग्राम ज्योति योजना, IPDS वगैरह सब मिला करके हमको लगता है कि हमको लगता है कि 25-30 हज़ार करोड़ हमने दिया है उत्तर प्रदेश को। इसके बाद RDSS में भी और पैसा दे रहे हैं, ट्रांसफार्मर्स खरीदने के लिए, सब स्टेशंस बनाने के लिए, HT लाइन्स LT लाइन्स लगाने के लिए। उसके बाद फिर क्यों होगा, ऐसा कोई कारण नहीं। बिजली हमारे पास पर्याप्त उपलब्ध है, तो आप ये तो कर दें, एक कंप्लेंट फाइल करा दें वहाँ जो ग्रीवांस रिड्यूसल मैकेनिज्म है, कहिए कि ये नियम देख लीजिए, नहीं तो एक कॉपी रूल्स का दिलवा देना पंकज, है ना, देख लीजिए और एक कंप्लेंट फाइल करवा दीजिए कि हमको कंपनसेशन चाहिए। ये देखिए होगा यही, राइट्स आर entrenched only when you exercise them, so please exercise your right. There is no shortage of electricity, so nobody has a right to, no DISCOM has a right to do any load shedding. अगर उसका नेटवर्क कमजोर है तो क्या कारण है कमजोर होने का, पैसा तो हमने पर्याप्त दिया है।
सर I want to answer about the mobile, जी मैं बता रहा हूँ। रूरल एरियाज में we want to ensure कि सभी गांव में 4G का मोबाइल सिग्नल हो। अभी हमने पूरे देश के 6,44,000 गाँवों का सर्वे कराया है और उसमें हमने देखा कि 25,000 गांव ऐसे हैं जहां पर 4G का मोबाइल सिग्नल नहीं है, कुछ में 2G है, कुछ में 3G है, कुछ में कुछ भी नहीं है। तो अभी हमने एक 26,000 करोड़ का एक प्रोजेक्ट मंजूर किया है जिसका नाम है 4G सैचुरेशन प्रोजेक्ट। इस प्रोजेक्ट के माध्यम से हम ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि देश का कोई भी गांव ऐसा नहीं होगा जहां पर 4G सिग्नल नहीं होगा। तो इस प्रोजेक्ट का क्रियान्वयन हम अगले 12 महीने में करेंगे एंड वी विल मेक श्योर दैट द एंटायर कंट्री इज कवर्ड बाय 4G मोबाइल सर्विसेज।
सर
लास्ट 3 और 4 क्वेश्चंस।
सर एक सवाल इधर
लास्ट 3 और मिश्रा, लास्ट 3 और 4 क्वेश्चंस।
नंबर 127।
हाँ लास्ट सर इधर
लास्ट नहीं, 2-3 क्वेश्चन ले लो, 3 या 4।
एक सवाल सर मैं इधर ऊपर पूछना चाहता हूँ, आपके ये विषय से अलग सवाल है लेकिन आपसे जुड़ा हुआ है कि लोकसभा में दिल्ली सर्विसेज बिल पास हो गया, विपक्षी दल इस पर बहुत हंगामा कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि आपसे जुड़ा हुआ मसला है, आपसे जुड़ा हुआ मसला है, आपने पहले बहुत डील किया है नौकरी करते हुए, क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
किसके बारे में? दिल्ली सर्विसेज,
दिल्ली अधिकारियों की ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग का अधिकार किसके पास होगा? हालांकि बिल लोकसभा से पास
देखिए बात यह है कि दिल्ली यूनियन टेरिटरी रहने का कारण क्योंकि यह देश का कैपिटल है, तो दिल्ली पर अधिकार सिर्फ दिल्ली में रहने वाले लोगों का नहीं है, पूरे देश का है। यहाँ पर पूरे देश के सभी जितने प्रांत हैं सबका बराबर का अधिकार है दिल्ली पर, देश का कैपिटल, इसीलिए यूनियन टेरिटरी का मतलब है कि पार्लियामेंट का उस पर नियंत्रण रहेगा, दिल्ली असेंबली का नहीं। और ये पार्लियामेंट दिल्ली के हर मसले पर कानून बना सकती है, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा हुआ है। आर्टिकल आई थिंक 399AA है या 293AA है, आप देख लीजिएगा। जो दिल्ली का जो प्रोविजन है उसमें ये स्पष्ट लिखा हुआ है कि जो पार्लियामेंट है वो सभी मसलों पर कानून बना सकेगी, सिर्फ यूनियन लिस्ट पर नहीं, स्टेट लिस्ट पर भी और कंकरेंट लिस्ट पर भी। जो ट्रांसफर्ड सब्जेक्ट्स हैं उस पर भी पार्लियामेंट कानून बना सकेगी, और अगर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का कोई कानून है तो उसके अगर और पार्लियामेंट का कानून है, अगर उसमें कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है तो पार्लियामेंट का कानून प्रिवेल करेगा। ये उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा हुआ है। तो जो दिल्ली सर्विसेज बिल है अकॉर्डिंग टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, और यह आवश्यक है कि दिल्ली यूनियन टेरिटरी है, ये देश का कैपिटल है, इसीलिए आवश्यक है।
नंबर 127 127 127।
नहीं, वही मैंने बता दिया, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल। आइए देखिए, इस पर विचार हुआ था पहले कि हाँ साहब, सो ये यहाँ पर ये होना चाहिए कि नहीं, यूनियन टेरिटरी रहना चाहिए। कमिटीज भी बैठी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल असेंबली में भी विचार हुआ, और उस समय भी यही विचार रहा अम्बेडकर जी का, नेहरू जी का। तो गृह मंत्री ने तो अपने बयान में कहा ही था, सबका पढ़ करके भी सुनाया था कि नहीं, दिल्ली को यूनियन टेरिटरी रहना चाहिए। आप किसी से भी पूछ लीजिए देश में कहीं पर भी कि देश आज, ये सिर्फ यही का नहीं है, दुनिया में जो नेशनल कैपिटल्स हैं बाय एंड लार्ज यूनियन टेरिटरीज है। नेक्स्ट।
Thank you. I'm Sarthik from Renewable Watch. I have two questions. One is on offshore wind. So, when can we expect progress on ground, and how well is the government placed?
Hopefully, we should see a bid soon. We have sort of drawn up the bidding documents. We have had consultations. So hopefully, you should see a bid soon. I mean, we also want to foray to offshore wind. We believe that there is good potential for that, both the offshore of Gujarat and offshore of Tamil Nadu. So you'll see bids soon.
Also, the second question on farm fires, like what is the progress?
Basically, I think in the next 15-20 days, I think, or month, maybe.
Yes, the second question is on farm fires in North India. So what have different farm fires, stubble burning. So Ministry of Agriculture, Farm Welfare is not probably represented here. So maybe
these are actually burning of parali or what, paddy husk. Yeah.
So what has the government done in the past year to avoid the burning of excess biomass?
We put in place a scheme. You see, every ministry does what it can. We have put in place a scheme whereby we have mandated that people, thermal power plants will co-fire biomass pellets. The idea is that, and we are enforcing that. The problem is that the bids are issued for procurement of biomass. Not sufficient quantity of biomass is forthcoming. So we try to analyze the reasons. The reason seems to be that the supply chain has still not developed. You need, mechanisms for pelletization, etc. We have also a program for giving assistance for pelletization. We have a program under the Ministry of Renewable Energy, under which I think almost, 14, 15 loans have been sanctioned, isn't it? For setting up pelletization machines and torrefication machines, so that the supply chain becomes stronger. As time passes by, the supply chain will become stronger. We are also thinking of having a feed-in tariff for pelletization. Now, I mean a feed-in price for for biomass pellets, so that there is a stability of demand.
Next 24.
I'm Ajit Kumar from Radiance Media. This side. Here, middle. My question is, I have two questions. One is on power in Delhi NCR.
Power?
In Delhi NCR. Power supply in Delhi NCR.
In Delhi, yeah.
Delhi NCR. So I stay at Indrapuram, Ghaziabad, and there are more than at least 10 cuts every day, maybe for 15 minutes,
Can
20
you keep
minutes.
the mic at distance? Yeah.
Yeah. So there are more than 10 cuts on average every day, and what happens is
Where?
in apartments in Delhi NCR, Ghaziabad and other places. I stay at Ghaziabad.
Indrapuram.
Indrapuram, yeah.
So there's a lot of disruption.
Lot of disruptions, and then people have to use generator sets which are mostly on diesel, as you know. So lot of pollution, and apart from that, a lot of extra cost is also incurred. So I think this is one point that I wanted to mention and want to know about that. Second is about the telecom services.
Okay, now as far so this disruption which is happening, I mean, what is the duration, etc.? Can you file a complaint with the grievance redressal mechanism and send us a copy? Sure. If the duration is significant, and the number of instances are significant, then I think some penalty will be levied on that discom.
Sure, thank you. Another question is on telecom. In Delhi NCR also we have lot of call dropouts, despite having 5G and 6G is also coming in 3-4 years maybe. So how to improve this condition in places, big cities like Delhi NCR also? Thank you.
The aspect related to quality of services is monitored by TRI, and there are regular reports that are submitted to TRI, and TRI ensures that certain standards set for the quality is met. So through TRI, this is regulated.
Next question, 262.
Sir, this is Abhishek.
I can hear you. Yeah.
My question was on CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism.
Keep the mic at distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your question is on?
The question was on CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism.
Yeah.
So it's due, the reporting standards are due from October 1. So where do we stand today in terms of products that we are sending to Europe and reporting on them, and to also products coming into India? Not everyone follows the same carbon standards. So where do we stand on that, and any plans from your ministry's end?
There are two aspects to this. One is the trade aspect. So that is being looked after by the Ministry of Commerce. The other aspect is, reducing the carbon content of the products which go from India to Europe. So that's why we brought in this green hydrogen manufacturing, green hydrogen mission. And we are going to come out, we already have some pilots running on green steel. We'll come out with another pilot on green steel, so as to make sure that the future steel has less carbon, is green. Similarly, different industries will try to reduce the carbon content of their products by using green feedstock and green energy. So this is something which is a process which cannot happen overnight. This is you are running pilots, you are developing new products, new processes, right? Now the carbon, as far as the CBAM is concerned, their logic is that, look, we are levying taxes on our domestic industry, to discourage carbon content. So that is why we have to levy similar duties or imposts on imports. That is their logic.
Next question, 79.
Yeah.
79.
I'm Nikunj from Reuters. In 2020, the government had announced a national infrastructure pipeline, which had infrastructure projects across ministries of about 111 lakh crore. That had to come from both government and private sector. So if you could share what has been the development on that, how many projects have been completed or sanctioned, and also there was for the same period.
There is a national infrastructure pipeline of 111 lakh crores. And basically that has grown because we are adding projects to that, right? The exact total will be available with the DPIIT. Economic will be available with the economic affairs. So it is a part of that, this national infrastructure pipeline, which has resulted in this. In order to mobilize funds for that, we are also monetizing our assets, right? So you would have seen that we carried out monetization of some of our transmission assets. Similarly, monetization is happening in other sectors as well to mobilize the funds for this. We've also upped our own outlays for infrastructure for this. So by and large, our pace of infrastructure construction is good. It's rapid, and in fact, we are happy with where we are and where we are going.
Okay, and if you could share the monetization, how much assets have at least the Power Ministry been able to monetize?
That figure will be available with the Department of Economic Affairs.
Your power, I'm asking you the power sector, and if...
For power, we have already monetized some transmission assets. As far as future monetization is concerned, let's see.
Say for road,
friends, we have
this
last
year
questions.
alone we have a target of 35,000, and in effect there is a target which was agreed to in the budget, but internally we are looking at about 44,000 crore of monetization. So every department is doing, and finally the net figures will be able to get consolidated from economic affairs, as Honorable Minister said.
And for Telecom, sir, Telecom Ministry has not been able to monetize any assets as of now. So if Mr. Rao could share something on that.
So there, under the NIP, we have a proposal for monetization of towers. We'll share the details. We'll share the details.
In the shipping ministry, we've done about, or are in the process of doing about 40,000 crores monetization. No, overall.
Friends, we have two last questions, 170 and 62. So 170 and then 62. 91. Okay, 91 we'll take that.
Hello sir, this is Rituraj from Mint. My question is on the railways. You obviously spoke about the indigenization and the rollout of Vande Bharat trains.
Keep your mic at distance from you.
You spoke about indigenization and rollout of Vande Bharat trains, but what about the development in terms of safety and security post the Balasore tragedy? What sort of plans do you have, and what has been the progress so far? Are we going to see an overhaul of the signaling system as such?
No, as far as safety is concerned, I think our expenditure on safety is almost 4 times what it was. Our expenditure on safety is in the region of about 1,32,000 crores. That's the figure I remember. In fact, I think we started rolling out Kavach in 2016. Before that, nobody had started rolling out Kavach. We started rolling it out. And we have rolled it out in 1,600 kilometers already. And another 3,000 kilometers Kavach is under process of being rolled out. So our outlay, the railways outlay, our outlay on railway safety is about 3 times, 4 times of what it used to be.
Number 62.
Exact figure bata dijiyega.
Number 62.
Sir, this is Rajesh from Bloomberg here. This side, sir. Just need some clarification on the export of carbon credits. Export of carbon credits. I think last time we spoke at a conference, you said that whatever is surplus left after India.
Basically, you see carbon credit, any carbon credit which I transfer, I cannot count against my own NDCs, right?
Right.
Now, the good thing is that I am well up on my NDCs. Okay? As I said, I achieved my NDCs 9 years in advance. The first NDC which we had pledged in COP21 in Paris in 15. Now we have pledged a higher NDC in Glasgow. Now that also I will achieve well in advance. So I will have carbon credits to spare. Now if I have carbon credits to spare, it makes sense for me to permit it to be sold worldwide. That will make my products cheaper.
So just one clarification. Today you said that you would be looking at export of carbon credits from high-end technology.
Now, for example, suppose I'm making green hydrogen.
Right.
Right. Now,
would that mean that credits from plain vanilla solar, wind industries would be banned, barred?
No, the final product is green hydrogen. So that will give me the number of credits. Maybe I think it's per kilogram, it's 11 or something, whatever, 11 kgs. So that carbon credit, part I will keep, part I will allow to be sold to the country which is buying the green hydrogen from me.
91, last question.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Sir, here.
बताओ.
एविएशन सेक्टर पे सर एक प्रॉब्लम है कि
माइक को थोड़ा अलग रखिए.
एटीएफ इतना महंगा है, एयर टर्बाइन फ्यूल इतना महंगा है, जो मैं अपना घर जाता हूँ तो मेरा सारा पैसा खर्चा हो जाती है. तो ये मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता है कि जो आप लोग होते हुए भी, आप लोग तो हवाई जहाज में चलते फिरते हैं, आप लोग होते हुए भी एटीएफ को क्यों इसको इतना बढ़ा के रखे, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता है. 1 kiloliter ATF, it is more than 40,000.
इसका प्राइस तो मेरे
ATF
ख्याल से
prices are determined.
International prices.
They are international prices, and the prices that we have in our
We can't
country
help it.
are linked to international prices.
We can't
So there's
help it.
very little kind of
हमारे
control
यहाँ
that we
petrol
have on
products होता नहीं
international
है।
prices.
नहीं देखिए क्रूड ऑयल का जो भी सेल होता है बाय एंड लार्ज एक इंटरनेशनल बेंचमार्क होता है, हमारे यहाँ तो क्रूड ऑयल होता नहीं है। हाँ, नेक्स्ट।
Thank you so much.
Any other?
Thank you, sir.
Last.
One
अच्छा,
question.
चलो लास्ट क्वेश्चन।
अच्छा, last question. Last question, Mike.
टाइमलाइन फॉर पावर मार्केट कपलिंग। अच्छा, टाइमलाइन अभी हम कुछ बता नहीं सकते हैं, लेट मी जस्ट सी व्हाट द स्टेटस इज एट, लेकिन बट द मार्केट कपलिंग विल हैपन। जापान ने एक ड्राफ्ट हमको भेजा था, वो ड्राफ्ट हमको ठीक लगा है, तो बाय एंड लार्ज वी शैल प्रोग्रेस दैट।
But it will only have green hydrogen, you're saying. But you said that
This is for green hydrogen, yeah.
Okay, but other renewable sectors which can generate carbon credit would be part of the program,
उसको भी
right?
हम देखेंगे।
But that is for domestic only.
That also we shall see. You know, because that will help us to bring down the price cost. अब चाहे offshore wind है या with storage, round the clock renewable energy है, let's see.
For overseas as well.
We'll consider that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
friends,
you.
your
Thank
friends,
you, all of you. Now the
your
figures.
Your friends, high table has been, high tea has been arranged on the
figures
4th
which-
floor. Please join us.
The figures which I read out, they'll all be available for you.
That's right.
Thank you.
We have already given you the printouts. We'll also WhatsApp it. Please join us for high tea on the 4th floor. Thank you so much.